Hi everyone, I'm Meteorologist Pat Cavlin with a quick weather update here. Live look at, what time is it? Just after midnight here, I guess. And you can see we're looking at mainly dry conditions for now, but we do have storms on the way farther off towards the north and west. In fact, they've actually extended that severe thunderstorm watch now until 4 a.m. and that includes Colorado, Austin, and Washington counties. Again, that goes until 4 o'clock in the morning. Right now, the storms are out towards the I-35 corridor, but they are very, very slowly moving in our direction. So here's a look at radar. Tons of lightning. If you live up towards Bryan College Station, if you live up towards Navasota and you're looking up to the north, probably a big light show going on right now. And also if you live in Colorado, Austin, Washington counties, and you're looking off towards the west, you might be seeing a lot of lightning as well. Let's take the lightning off and kind of give you a better look of what's going on. No active warnings right now. We did have a warning here just a little bit ago out towards the Austin area. That has since expired, which means that the storms that were out there weakened a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean to say that these can't pulse back up again and become stronger, but right now it just doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So let's do a little bit of a deeper dive here. We'll give you the state view of what's going on. You could really see that we are really focused on two areas for severe weather right now. And one of those areas is off towards the northeastern portion of the state. You can see severe thunderstorm warnings here through southern portions of Arkansas. And the other batch that we're watching here is just to the west of San Antonio. San Antonio is seeing some really big thunderstorms earlier tonight. Those are now starting to push south towards Corpus and eventually towards South Texas. So we've kind of been threading the needle in between these two areas for a good portion of the evening hours, but it does look like that gap is starting to fill in. So we'll give you a little bit of a closer look here, and you can see in the last hour or so how that gap filled in here. So just to the north and west of Brenham and Navasota, just to the north of Bryan here, how we went from nothing now to seeing quite a bit of activity. So a lot of lightning, a very electric storm, but again, no warnings at this point. So as we kind of recenter things, you can see we are dry here through the Houston metro, down to the coastal spots. You're totally fine. I don't think you're going to see anything for quite some time, but it is farther to the north that we are seeing more of those storms. Austin, you're dealing with them right now. They're starting to push out of the Austin area. I-35 should eventually start to see some clearing here within the next 30 minutes to an hour as these storms continue to push off towards the east. So let's stop the clock on this. We'll show you the current picture. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit, and that'll give us kind of a better perspective of this line. So the line kind of goes east to west here, north of Bryan, and then once you hit I-35, it's more north to south, and that's because this batch was moving towards the east before, and this batch down here was pushing south, and now they've kind of merged. So now you're getting a little bit of a zippering effect here where they kind of come together, and that's going to be moving in our direction here as we go through the next few hours. So let's say they're moving at about 30 miles per hour. Let's see if we can put a track on this. I have to actually adjust the speed on these. And so we'll do line, and yeah, 30 miles an hour. Okay. So let's say this line is moving about 30 miles per hour. So we'll take the line down here, and then we'll pull it out. So this takes us all the way to about 3 o'clock in the morning. So we could expect to see this towards Brenham around 2 a.m.-ish if it holds together. So we're still talking about a couple hours from now before this line hits. Now, that being said, we could see some storms develop ahead of this line, so that would move that time up a little bit. But that's the time that we're looking for right now, about probably 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning. These will start to move into our extreme northwestern counties. So again, Colorado, Washington, Austin counties. So those are the ones under the watch right now. And then eventually into Waller County, and then we'll start to get closer and closer to the Houston metro area. And I think we could see these storms ongoing just before sunrise as we get into Sunday. And then we get a little bit of a break here. So no big severe threat right now, nothing imminent at this point. But again, we are keeping an eye on our western zones. Again, Washington, Austin, and Colorado counties here right along I-10, because they are going to be the ones first up in the viewing area to get this line here as it moves towards the east. My poorly drawn arrow there. So we'll have to see if these storms hold together. The threats that we're watching for with these storms will be strong damaging winds and large hail. There's no tornado threat at this point. It's very, very, very low end. We haven't seen any tornado warnings tonight so far, which is good news. Just a few thunderstorm warnings. That being said, we have actually seen some storm reports. Actually, we could pull those up for you. We'll see if they're in the system. Let's see. Oh, it's under report. It's got its own tab. So we'll click reports here. And we'll go back to the last, let's say the last 6 hours and see if anything pops up here. Okay, so there you go. So there are the hail reports that we were talking about. And we'll take a look at what some of these hail reports were. Got to move the camera around a little bit. But it's mainly been around the San Antonio area, and this is where we had some of those bigger storms. Nothing around Austin yet so far, which is good news because those are the storms that are moving towards the Brenham area. But some of these hail reports were pretty good, actually. So we'll kind of get a deeper dive into what some of these storms are capable of producing. Ping pong ball-sized hail. We also had reports up to, it doesn't give a size there, up towards New Braunfels. Penny-sized hail, so pretty small hail there. Same storm a little farther south. Quarter to golf ball size hail. So that's about as big as it's been so far this evening. Right now on radar, I don't think we're seeing any hail at this point. We'll go into our hail detection mode. Nothing showing up here. That's good news. Actually, no, just populating. Okay, so some really small amounts there to the south of San Antonio. That's part of that line that went through before where those hail reports were coming in just to the north and west of town. So we do have a hail core to the south of San Antonio. That's going to stay south. That's not going to come to us. We are tracking maybe some penny-sized hail up north and west of Bryan College Station. In fact, that one just got a little bit bigger. So we'll get you in for a closer look there just to see what we're dealing with. And I don't anticipate this segment of the line giving us anything significant, but yeah, you can see that's probably about quarter size. Now getting into the golf ball range. So maybe some decent hail up in that direction. We'll switch over to the radar mode and see how it looks. No warnings on that segment at this point, but a lot of lightning. In fact, let's take the lightning off so we get a better look inside. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, nothing really impressive at this point. Nothing worth warning yet, but I think, of course, the National Weather Service, if they deem it's appropriate, they will issue a warning. But that's still out of the area north and west of here. All right, let's give you a more of a zoomed out shot again and just talk about what's going on before we wrap this up. Severe thunderstorm warnings here out towards Arkansas, extending into extreme portions of East Texas. We'll give you the full view of the radar here and just show you everything that's going on. So a lot of lightning, just very electric storms. Severe thunderstorm watches here. This is what these yellow boxes are, extending back to the border and then into our western counties. And there's been two segments here. This one's moving off to the east and this one's moving to the south and east. So this is what's going to catch up to us here as we go through the next few hours. And it's all part of that cold front. And that cold front has been very slow to move through the area, but it is eventually going to make its way here as we get into the morning hours. So all of this is moving south and east. So that's all going to be here as we get into Sunday morning. Now, by the time it gets here, everything kind of stalls out. So we're not expecting any big cooling relief from this, at least until the middle of the upcoming week. All right, so just to recap, these are the two storms that we're watching. Watch how it kind of filled in here. That's what we're watching right now, just to the south of Waco. In fact, let's get you in for a closer look here. So the most intense part of the storm right now, watch for the white within those darker shadings. That's the most intense part. In fact, I'll stop the clock there so you get a really better look. Right in there. Those are the highest cloud tops, the coldest cloud tops, indicated by that white shading. So that's the most intense part that we're watching right there. It could weaken, but that's just where we're at this point. So this is the area that has filled in. Remember, we were talking about two separate storm systems before. Now they're starting to merge. And the question is, will that segment eventually push south? So if it does, that's where the severe threat comes into play. But that's the question. So severe thunderstorm watches again up for the western counties, and then I think we're in the home stretch in terms of the severe threat. So it's a morning shower chance for us here in Houston. Could see even a few rumbles of thunder. That's around sunrise. We catch a small break and then afternoon storms develop again. The cold front doesn't clear though. It gets hung up across the area as a stationary boundary. And so that's going to act as the focus for rounds of showers and storms for Monday, for Tuesday, and even into Wednesday before this eventually turns back into a cold front and clears through the area. So that's that's what we're dealing with for us here tonight. All right, so just a few storms here by morning. Temperatures will probably even out in the low to mid 70s. A little bit warmer at the coast, I think, where we should stay dry for much of the night. But where we see the rain, we could drop back into the upper 60s. And then we're off to a cooler day as we get into tomorrow with high temperatures in the upper 80s. Kim Castro has you covered for any storms that are going on during the morning hours. She's going to be here. And of course, we'll be back as we get into tomorrow evening. Thank you for watching and have a great night.